And I'll give you a go here in just a second.
All right.
All right, go.
All right, everybody. Howdy. It's Jonathan Sutton doing a Facebook Live quarantine edition. Once again, I'm in my basement till my kids run me out of here. Today, we're going to be hanging out with a singer-songwriter who he and I actually have a lot in common. We're both Jews. We both had a big deal happen to us in 1999, and we're born on the same day, although I'm a few years older than him. But that's where it all changes, because from that, then you find out he is a very thoughtful, talented singer-songwriter, and I'm just a DJ. But let's welcome in Pete Yorn. Hey, Pete.
Hey now, what's up?
How you doing there?
July 27th?
Yeah, baby.
All right.
Leos.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know how many songs we have before. 2 today we got, or what? 2 songs?
Whatever you want.
You're good. Okay. So before we talk about caretakers, there's so many things to talk about, but let's just start off with some music because that's why people are here. So let's hear a song first. What are you going to do for us?
I'll do Calm Down. Calm Down from my record Caretakers. I hope it sounds good. It should sound all right. Let's try. See me all right? My face isn't cut off? All right. All is well in my hometown. People sleeping in the street alive. There's a memory at all. I wish I knew then what I know now. Calm down, you know I'm telling the truth. When I look at you, you know I'm telling the truth. Calm down, I never had to choose. 'Cause when I look at you, I know there's nothing to lose. And all is well in your world now. People dreaming through the daylights. All the melodies come back. I wish I knew then what I know now. Calm down, you know I'm telling the truth. When I look at you, you know I'm telling the truth. Calm down, I never had to choose. 'Cause when I look at you, I know there's nothing to lose. And all the tears I cried, but I wouldn't change a thing. No, I wouldn't change a thing. And all the times we tried, no, I wouldn't change a thing. No, I wouldn't change a thing. Calm down. Calm down.
Nice. Pete Yorn joining us in our quasi Studio M session here today. Now, that album came out in the summertime, last summer, but that song is so perfect for right now, man.
Oh,
Are you there? Did I lose you?
I hear you. Yeah, it came out last August, and yeah, it helps me. Like people are like, some people are like, "Are you telling people to calm down? Are you what?" No one ever calms down when you tell people to calm down. I'm like, I didn't write it for that. I wrote it to calm myself down. I was freaking out about stuff, and it was a reminder for me to like calm down. I was just talking to myself, you know.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from.
But so you're saying you were freaking out about stuff back then. Don't you wish you were just freaking out about that stuff now?
I'm a songwriter. I'm always freaking out about something internally. It's a constant struggle, but I'm all right. I'm treading water. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys are you hightailed it out of LA, right?
Yeah, my wife had a good sense about things, and she's always into like post-apocalyptic movies and books over the years and sci-fi and everything. And she's watching this thing back in December. She's like, "There's something weird going on. I'm telling you, there's closing towns down in China. This is weird. This is weird." And I'm like, "Come on, come on," thinking, one of those, nothing's gonna happen. And then sure enough, it just kept getting worse and worse every week. And she had us out of town. March 3rd, I think we were in quarantine already, and we had our kid out of school like 5 weeks before that. I feel like, um, and we've just been hiding out in the desert, and I'm happy. Where we live, it's pretty crowded, and it's right on the block where the emergency room of a hospital is, and I think I would have gone batty staying where we lived. So I'm happy to be able to be in the desert with a little more room and less people around. So
For sure. It's always that's how it is with every marriage. There's always one smart, sensible partner and then the dumb one. That's how it is in my marriage too. The, my wife's in charge. She keeps it together. Same kind of thing. Now you've got two brothers in the entertainment industry. They're in LA, right?
yeah, they're in LA, and they've stayed put, and they seem to be doing pretty well. They My one brother's like, I feel like my oldest brother's kind of like using it as a lot of time for growth and meditation and getting into the housework and all that. And my other brother, he's much more of a social butterfly by nature, I feel like. They both are, but I feel like my other brother, um, I feel like it's a big adjustment for him to like be home all the time. But I think he's enjoying being with his kids so much and kind of getting inspired from that, which is great. And we just miss each other, It's like every day I wake up and I'm like, all right, we're just gonna choose to be happy today and make it a good day and do what we can and try and stay positive. That's all we can do.
Absolutely. Now, I had read a story about that. Your brothers are both attorneys, and then your parents wanted you to be, or one of them is at least
My oldest brother's
one.
an attorney. One of them is,
What's
yeah.
that?
One is my oldest brother.
Yeah. But so that way back when your parents wanted you to also be an attorney, possibly, but your brothers were like, no, no, this guy's got talent, right?
Pretty much, yeah. My dad wanted me to be a tax lawyer, and I started off an accounting major at Syracuse freshman year, and I was terrible at math. And I finally told him after the first semester, I'm like, Dad, it's ain't for me. Maybe I'd still try and be a lawyer, but a tax lawyer, forget about it. I could barely do basic algebra, and so I was still thinking about law. But then halfway through college, I was just writing so many songs. It was just like pouring out of me, and it became too obvious. And my brothers, I will say, and my friends too, were always. Everyone was very encouraging. They're like, "Pete, you gotta just try music, man. You gotta try it." And it never occurred to me, like I didn't grow up thinking I want to be a rock star or something like that. I just like playing guitar and singing, and so I figured when I had to graduate school, but I figured that I could always go to law school, but just try music first, and if it doesn't work out in a few years, then we'll go to law school. And
Yeah. And
and
your brothers, were you guys all kind of playing music together when you were kids or not really?
well, they're older than me, so I was like, when I was like 7, they were already in high school. Um, but they used to have their friends over in our basement. I grew up in New Jersey, and they would have, these burnout friends of theirs come in with like Marshall half stacks and like tons of amps, and they would just crank. My brother Rick was a drummer, and my other brother Kev would like be like the singer, and they would just play like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden covers, UFO, then they were like playing like Night Ranger covers. I remember just being a kid sitting there and I'm thinking like in my house, like, and this is pretty cool, you know? Like, so I had an exposure to live music in my house, in my basement at an early age. And I remember sitting there thinking like, I could do this. I could do it better than these guys. Screw them. You know, I was like 6, 7 years old. And I remember when they would leave, I would like jump behind the drums and start messing around and it, for sure having that exposure as a little kid, you know, in my house, I think led me down the path for sure of just being into music and being able to play, you know.
That is awesome. Yeah. Let's hear another song. What do you want to, what are you doing? Another one from Caretakers, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, let's do it. This is like uh, a song that I wrote for my little girl, for Ellie B. I got a 4-year-old girl that I'm getting to spend a lot of time with, and I had written this song about I want to be the one, and it's the lyric is I want to be the one to watch you, I want to be the one to talk you through, and it's just kind of about being present and being there as a parent or in anyone's life, you know, people who are close to you, and I'm certainly getting a lot of time to do that now, so I'm appreciating that, and this song touches upon that, so it's called I Want to Be the One, all right? Holding on to innocence in bone. We'll be leaving here before too long. Never really know where you're coming from. I will leave you there. I want to be the one to watch you. I want to be the one to talk to you through. Can't do anything else I ever wanted to do. I want to be the one. I can see the lights fading out. If we get to the place, we'll know how. Tell me where you're going, I'll be there now. Always up to you. I want to be the one to watch you. I want to be the one to talk to you through. Can't think of anything else I ever wanted to do. I want to be the one. I want to be the one. Different labels on the bottles, different ways to pass the time. I tell you in my dreams we made it. The picture that was only faded. Can't think of anything else I ever wanted to do. Yeah, I want to be the one. I want to be the one. I want to be the one. Yeah, I want to be the one. I want to be
Pete Yorn. Pete Yorn in our Studio M session today. And you know, that song, especially stripped down, kind of gives you a little, I mean, it's a beautiful song, but a little sad feeling too, in a good way. I mean, and I heard you had a grandpa who said that, who liked to have like a little cry in the song or something like that. He's quite a character. Tell me a little bit about him.
Yeah, Here, I'll show you to him. Hold on.
Okay.
This guy, this is his wedding picture. That's my grandparents. That's Pop Herman. Anyone who knows me knows about Pop, and that's his wife Helen. And those are my grandparents. And he lived to 104, and he grew up in Poland and during World War One. He didn't move here till 1920, and he used to say, in the old country, he's like he played his mandolin, and he's like, I like a sad song, Petey. I like a sad song. PJ, he would call me, and he said, I like a song with a cry in it, with a cry. That's what he would say, and I have that too. I like songs that make you feel sad, but they kind of make you in a good way, that bittersweet sort of thing. And I naturally put that in so much of my music. I'm kind of drawn to that. And I just put out another song last week called The World. And I put a video out with that too, which is all pictures of my family, old time pictures of my family around the house I'm in. And that song is like for me has like the most nostalgia and that kind of bittersweet feeling, and it talks about that, and it talks about when you realize you just got to take the good and the bad. Like the world is filled with all this beauty and amazing stuff, and on the other side of that is just like guaranteed pain. If you're gonna love, you're gonna feel pain at some point and loss, and you just have to kind of accept that and not let it bring you down, And so I touch upon that in a lot of the songs that I write. So
Yeah. I mean, if you don't feel lost, then you'll never get gain, right? I mean,
yeah,
it,
a couple of the ultimate songs of that is like "I Am a Rock" by Simon and Garfunkel. Is like it's like you can be a rock. A rock feels no pain, and an island never cries. But at the same time, you miss out on so much of the beauty of life. And I don't think that's what we're put here for, to kind of shield ourselves. And so there's people who they go through pain or something and they just shut down and they shield themselves from relationships or letting themselves be vulnerable. And you got to fight through that. I think it's important to fight through that because that's where all the greatness in life exists. And you know, I believe that.
absolutely. And on a much lighter note, I guess, of the being up and down, the Dire Straits song, The Bug, you know that one? Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. So,
Yeah.
kind of a
Yeah.
little up and down with that. So let's go back, if we can, for a minute. If we got a couple more minutes here, I think. Going back to 1999 is when you signed your first record deal, right?
That's correct. Columbia
Yeah.
Records.
Yeah. That's when I signed up here at this radio station in Madison. Of course, I thought I'd be gone from here in a couple of years, but I haven't. I've been there ever since. But your path that you've done through it, you've done solo stuff, but you've done a lot of other work, like stuff with Scarlett Johansson. And I just got to ask, just being a dude, like, how was that with Scarlett Johansson? Was that pretty awesome?
Of course, Scarlett's the best. She's she's super talented and funny, and she's one of the funniest people I know. She's like kind of like a bit of a borscht belt comedian. If you let her go, she's hilarious. But she's been a good friend since she was a kid. I remember meeting her at some club in New York for the first time that I remember, and she was probably way too young to be there. And we always just kind of hit it off. Like we just had a easy to talk to, easy relationship, and I liked her persona for as a singer. I pictured this kind of character that she kind of really embodies, and so I really liked singing with her too.
And you guys are still planning to do one more? Is that in the works or not really?
She said jokingly, because it was 10 years between our records that we put out, the two that we put out, and so she said we got to put out another one in 10 years. So some people have taken that literally, but I didn't even plan on making a second one. It just kind of happened, and we'll see. Maybe it'll happen again down the road.
So have you like hung out with Colin Joster? Like have you guys double dated or anything?
No, I haven't. I haven't met Colin yet, and I haven't seen Scarlett in a bit. I haven't seen her really. Maybe I saw her once, and she started dating him, and now they're engaged. They're gonna get married. I think so.
Yeah. So you were mentioning about your little girl. She's 4. I've got a 5 and 7-year-old. How much did it change for you, man, when she showed up? Did it affect your songwriting a lot, you feel like?
Yeah. I feel like once, I've always had a slight problem with commitment and stuff like that over the years. I feel like even like a mortgage for me like feels like death. I'm like, ah, like my brain fast forwards to the end and I'm like freak out. Um, Having a kid is like ultimate commitment if you're someone who cares, And I remember thinking, is it going to be weird? Am I going to have more anxiety about it? I'm a Jew from the East Coast, and I got some sort of anxiety just programmed into my DNA, So I'm always fighting against that. But the truth is, when she was born, it all just went away. I don't know if it was something in her pheromones or anything, but it just made me realize like I'm all in, and being all in kind of took away a lot of like the extra noise, and I just love her so much. Like right when she popped out of my wife, I remember the second I saw her, I remember thinking like, am I gonna recognize her? What if I don't like feel anything? And right when I saw her face, I knew her. I was like, in fact, she had my grandfather's eyes. She has this guy's eyes, the piercing blue eyes. And I remember before he passed away, he lived to 104, so I can't complain. But I remember a quick passing thought I had was I saw his eyes, and I remember thinking like, what's going to happen to those eyes? Are they just going to go into the ground and just disappear forever? And I swear, when she popped out, she within a few like weeks, once you could really see the eyes, I knew. I'm like, those are the eyes. They're back, and it was just so crazy to see that. And it's not even like I'm trying to reach to feel that. It was so real and obvious to anyone who saw her and knew pop. So it was pretty cool. And yeah, it's just a blessing. I love the kid. Sometimes she drives me a little crazy if she's like, not listening. You know the drill there. But overall, the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. For sure. That's a beautiful story, man. Just one other quick thing. I noticed that you did once do a graduation speech at Syracuse, and I was wondering if you just freestyled it. Did you bring up a guitar? Like, because it always seems like it would be fun to do one of those.
I should have brought the guitar up. I'm better at that than public speaking, I'll tell you that. But yeah, they asked me to do it. I think it was 2010 or 11, and when I got the letter, it was like a formal letter that came, and I was like, oh, I got like so butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I have to do it. I can't say no and figure it out. But I had a prepared speech I was working with like a speech writer because I wanted to be like great. And then when I got it back, I was like, this isn't me. So I just rewrote it myself and just wrote it like really just from the heart. And it went well. It was in the Carrier Dome. It was like a big deal, and I was really honored to have that opportunity to speak to the students and the parents and everybody there. It was crazy. It was cool.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, we've taken up a lot of your time, although you're probably not going anywhere. But we'd love one more. Could you do one more for us today?
Yeah, I'd love to do one more, and I'd like to play a song that I spoke of before called "The World," that I'd written not too long ago. And it was I just put it out last week. It's on all the DSPs, and I dropped a video for it too. If you look on YouTube, it's called Pete Yorn, The World, and it's my most personal video that I've ever made. It's pictures of my house and my family, and me and my dad, and lots of stuff in there. And it's a song about taking the good with the bad. It is. So here, I'll play it for you, and I'm gonna capo up one.
No worries.
All right, let's try it. All right, 1, 2, 3. I'm counting in my invisible band that's in my head. 2, 3. The world is a beautiful place, even though I don't like it sometimes. Seeing what you get, you don't know what you're expecting. You're running from the things that I know you've been rejecting. The world is a beautiful place, even though I don't like it sometimes. The world is a funny place, even though it makes me sad sometimes. sad sometimes. Oh, it makes me sad sometimes. It makes me sad sometimes. And my heart goes out to the winners of lottery. Drive home in the sun, take another piece of me. Yeah. The world is a crazy place, and I just can't take it sometimes. Ever in a rush, don't know what to expect, and even in the mud, you can't get that upset. The world is a funny place, even if it makes me sad sometimes. Oh, it makes me sad sometimes. Oh, it makes me sad sometimes. Oh, it makes me sad sometimes.
That is beautiful, man. That is perfect. Pete Yorn, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. We appreciate it. Be safe, man. Stay cool. And next year in Jerusalem, right?
Exactly.
All right. Thanks to Jesse Guerin, who is our technical. He's been running everything in high-tech heating and air conditioning for making this possible. Everybody be cool. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you guys. Have a great one, everybody.
You too.